What's up? This is Jonathan, and in this video, I want to talk to you about something that can really change the way you shoot on your DSLR or mirrorless. If you shoot with an APS-C sensor, whether it's a DSLR, mirrorless, or even a camcorder, you might want to watch this video. And actually, I'm really aiming towards the people that have the A7RII because I had that camera, I love that camera, and APS-C mode on the A7RII is stunning. So before I jump straight into the product, I just want to give a quick background of my experience with Sony. About a year and a half ago, I purchased the original A7S, and I love that camera. However, when it came down to the lens selection, I was a bit disappointed. Now, see, that was my reason for leaving the FE and E mount system and going straight Canon. A lot of others are coming from Canon, so they want to bring those lenses over, and when they do that, they need an adapter. Now, the Metabone Speed Booster is a very expensive adapter, coming in at about $650, but you can get them used occasionally for about $500 to $550, so if that's something that sparks your fancy, then just keep an eye out for one. Now, with the Metabone Speed Booster, you get amazing build quality. The thing is solid as a rock. You get the ability to quickly update the firmware via a micro USB port located right there on the adapter. You also get full electronic control of your iris or aperture, and you also get metering, auto exposure, and autofocus. You don't get continuous autofocus, but if you're a still shooter or you want to do the push to focus button in video, it does work. The Speed Booster is also great because it allows you to use a full frame lens on a APS-C body and then widen the field of view. So instead of getting a 1.5 times crop, you're getting an emulated full frame view, and that's great. And it also gives you one extra stop of light, so you're gonna get one extra stop on your aperture. The CommuLight adapter retails for less than $100. You can find all the links to these things in the description, by the way, and it gives you all the electronic controls that are found in the Metabone Smart Adapter. So in other words, you get full control over your iris or aperture, you do get auto exposure, and you also get metering. So you're really not missing out on anything. And you even get autofocus. Again, if you're not using the A7R II and you're using something like the A7S II or the A7 II or A7, you're not gonna get that fast of autofocus, but you still do get it. But now let's talk about ND filters. ND filters are a piece of glass that you screw onto the end of the lens, and what it does is it blocks some of that light. So it doesn't let a lot of light pass through the lens into the sensor. And the purpose behind that is so that way you can shoot with a higher aperture to get a more shallow depth of field. With a variable ND filter, it does the same thing, except it gives you multiple stops. And what you do is you turn the dial located on the ND itself, and that will either make it brighter or darker, giving you flexibility with your shooting. Now, the problem with using an ND filter or variable ND filter is the fact that they can compromise the picture quality. So you can get some degradation. I mean, the cheaper ND filter you get, more than likely it's going to affect the picture quality. And if you're shooting in 4K, you need that super sharp image and you need a very clear filter, and they can go all the way up to hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Now, with professional camcorders, a lot of them come with built-in ND filters, and how that works is it drops a piece of glass in front of the sensor, and depending on the setting that you're in, depends on how dark that glass is. The FS5, which is Sony's new camera, the smaller version of the FS7, offers the widest selection and flexibility when it comes to those ND filters. It's almost like having a variable built into it, because you're not just limited to a certain amount of selections, you can actually adjust it completely. Now, I know that was a lot of talking and a lot of buildup, and most of you might have fast forwarded or just stopped watching, but for those of you that hung in there, I needed to give some background information to lead towards this product. What if I told you you could have the flexibility that professional camcorders have when it comes to NDs without having to put an ND on the end of your lens? Well, that's what this is. This is the Fotodiox Vizelex Throttle ND Adapter. And what it does is it adapts EF lenses to your Sony E mount, and it doesn't work with full frame cameras. You have to have an APS-C camera. But if you have the A7R II, this will work perfect. Now, with the ND throttle filter from Fotodiox, you actually get full electronic control still. So you still have full electronic control over your iris or aperture. You still have metering, you still have auto exposure, and you have autofocus. Here's a quick example of how it autofocuses. It's not the best, but honestly, I didn't find it that bad. Now, if you're using this on the A7R II, as I have stated probably 3 times now, your autofocusing is going to be much better than what you see here. Now, in terms of build quality, this thing is solid. It has a front cap and a rear cap for protecting the glass inside. And yes, it is glass. It's not just some type of film. It can be adjusted with a dial that is located on the actual adapter. And then you have a silver knob, which if you pull it back, that's how you take off the lens. Couldn't figure it out for a while, but once I got it and it works great. The only thing I don't like about it when you mount a lens is it doesn't click into place once you get it all the way turned. So when you turn the lens, usually like with the Metabones, it clicks to give you that comforting sound to know it's on there. This does not do that. However, if you keep your finger on that metal knob, you can feel it slide into place. It also comes with a foot, so if you want to attach it to your quick release plate or whatever it is you want to do with the foot, you can do so. I took mine off because it's really annoying. It got in the way a lot when I had it mounted on my cameras, especially the FS7 and with the cage on the A7S2. It wouldn't mount correctly. So the advantage of shooting with this rather than a typical ND or variable ND filter is the fact that you have nothing covering your lens. So the image that you capture can pass straight through that lens glass, hit this, and then this will tone down the light and then straight into the sensor. So other than built-in NDs, this is the next best thing. And the image that comes out when using this is pretty good. I mean, I did a test using the built-in ND filters on the FS7 and then using these, and I really didn't notice a difference in quality. There's no type of artifacts, there's no type of degradation. The colors coming off of this are a little bit different. This tends to warm things up, which is to be expected with an ND filter, but in terms of actual picture quality, I really didn't notice any difference. I mean, it was the same amount of sharpness. The color shift was just a little bit, I mean, hardly noticeable, and you can go into post and change it that way. And truth be told, I would much rather use this than the built-in NDs on the FS7. Why? Because with the FS7, you're limited to a certain amount of stops when it comes to using that ND filter, and the flexibility just isn't there. Say you wanted to capture something and you turned on the ND to, a 4th, and it wasn't bright enough. So you turned it on a 16th, now it's too bright. Well, now you have to dial up the iris in order to get your image or change your ISO. And to me, that's not practical. I have my settings correct the way I want them, and I should be able to just turn on the ND and boom. Well, this gives you the advantage of a variable, so you can adjust it slowly, and it's so smooth. There's no clicking, no jolting or anything. So you can actually use this while you're filming to correct the exposure. This adapter retails for $200. You can pick it up directly from the Fotodiox website, and that link will be in the description of this video. And like I said, this thing is just phenomenal when it comes to its purpose. It pretty much emulates built-in NDs on a DSLR or mirrorless camera. And if you're an A7RII owner and you love shooting video with that thing, to me, this is a must. Now, will I be keeping this? I don't know yet because I don't have the A7RII anymore. And truth be told, I don't need this and the built-in NDs on the FS7. However, I do prefer this over the built-in ones. So if you guys like the video, go ahead and drop me a thumbs up. Share it with your friends and family and people that you know that love to shoot video. Tweet it out, do whatever you want to do. Leave me a comment, let me know what you thought about this, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Be easy.